What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and in case you missed it, Wizards of the Coast in a weird but awesome move, something that I've actually kind of been low-key hoping for ever since the Midnight Syndicate stuff kind of stopped being a thing, is they released an album for Spelljammer. It's called Spelljams, and they even have 3, 2, 1, Let's Jam in the tweet that they released about it. So they're really tapping into the space vibes for sure. So let's take a look right here. So you can see 3, 2, 1, Let's Jam. Blast off to music inspired by hashtag Spelljammer. And you can click this link right here. And it'll take you over here. And you can see you can pre-order this on vinyl, as you can see from this image, which even the album looks pretty sweet. And the cover art is like, I mean, that evokes kind of like van art vibes to me, which is awesome, which is definitely in my wheelhouse of music that I like to listen to. I love it. The music, they're all bangers. Like, it's awesome. I don't. Here's the thing, though, right? I would love to play it for you and like sample some of the music, and you can go and absolutely listen to most, if not all, of the tracks for free, or at least snippets of all of the tracks for free. It looks like it is 19 tracks on this album. Songs range from anywhere from 3 minutes to 10 minutes. Here it is on Bandcamp, right? You can see we zoom in a little bit here on Bandcamp, right? You can buy individual tracks as well. I think you can listen to it on Spotify. But yeah, 335 it is looks to be probably around the shortest track, all the way up to the last track here being 10 minutes and 50 seconds. It says, for nearly 5 decades, D&D has inspired generations of creatives to make movies, novels, and yes, music. Now that relationship is even more distinct with the release of an album created by cutting-edge bands and musical acts, all inspired by Spelljammer Adventures in Space. The far-out storytelling in the world's greatest role-playing game, latest offering is fertile ground for composing music of the most original songs you'll hear this year from bands like Magic Sword, Shabazz, Palaces, and OCs. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. I've also never heard of any of these bands prior to this album, so maybe that's just me though. Spelljams features a double LP's worth of tracks from artists, all produced by Chris Funk, guitarist from the Decemberists, there's a band I've heard of, who play D&D with many folks in the music scene in Portland, Oregon. Chris Perkins, story architect at D&D and lead designer of Spelljammer, worked with Funk to bring the Flash Gordon-esque soundtrack to life. You know what they like on the Rock of Brawl, asked persons, referring to a location in Spelljammer? Rock music. The brilliant Chris Funk has assembled a motley crew of bards to create Spelljams, music inspired by our newest Spelljammer adventure, Light of Xerxes. I encourage dungeon masters use Spelljams as background music during their game sessions or listen to it while dreaming. Up more hijinks. Everyone else, enjoy the music of Wild Space. Helping facilitate bringing this world to life through music and the amazing artist visions that were selected was an honor of a lifetime, said Funk. I am of the opinion when people think of D&D, there's this preconceived underscore of what these worlds might sound like. With this bold return to Spelljammer, we're excited to push the boundaries deep into Wild Space, working with artists from diverse musical backgrounds that could challenge what music in the multiverse of the world's greatest role-playing game might sound like. Each artist was given a character or plot prompt from the storyline, then challenged to write an original composition based off Light of Xerxes. We hope you enjoy the results. And you can see some of them have, right? I wonder how well, like this is Ghost of the Nautiloid, right? So that might be obviously something to do with Mind Flayers. This one's just called Light of Xerxes. So I don't know. Michaela Davis, I know that name too. Some of these, sorry, work things. Some of these may be tied. I wonder if they have like specific musical prompts like to use during the adventure. Like I said, it's killer music. The music is awesome. I love it. I'm all about it. I don't collect vinyl. Just not a thing I do. I might buy this album just to have it in my collection. Here's the thing. Does this open up the opportunity for more music like this to be produced? I saw someone post about it on Twitter, and I agree. Like a spooky gothic music album would have been super ideal to release alongside Van Richten's Guide or any of the Ravenloft Curse of Strahd content. That would be awesome. Some of the best things you can do to portray to your players the vibe. I mean, we see this. This is what music exists for in movies and television shows, right? Music tells us how to feel. I know that sounds funny, but if you look into it, that's the nature of why people put musical stings. That's why when there's a jump scare, there's usually like a loud sound of some kind. uh, Music tells us how to feel and how to interact with a certain piece of media at a certain time. So if you're in a very somber moment in your campaign or like a spooky moment, spooky music can help accentuate that. And maybe that also might be the difference of keeping your players engaged more with the story than possibly losing them. Like if you're describing a spooky scene and there's spooky music playing, perhaps that'll keep them more invested, right? If it's a triumphant fanfare moment, my go-to idea of that is like the end of A New Hope, right? Like that music gets you into like, hey, we did it, we destroyed the Death Star, we're in a good spot, right? Stuff like that. So having music, and like I said, all of this music just super solid if it wasn't even tied to D&D. If you like kind of funky, there's some synth, there's some rock, it's good stuff. So it's good on its own. Tying it to D&D is awesome as well. Here's the thing, though. This is my biggest problem with it. Nowhere does it state, at least as far as I could tell clearly, is this safe to use for live streams? And that is what makes or breaks this in my mind for a lot of folks. So you perhaps don't know all of the crazy amount of red tape that's involved with streaming created music, and some people think they understand what's going on, Creative Commons license and blah blah blah. There are people who dedicate channels to just dealing with this. If you know anything about Twitch, if you're streaming on Twitch specifically, DMCA strikes is like a major thing that they love to do if anything seems copyrighted. Also, your music can get pulled or copyright stricken on YouTube if it seems like it's copyright music that's owned by somebody else. So if I want to run Spelljammer Adventures in Space on my channel, it would only make the most sense to be like, well, you know what I would love to do? I would love to use the official album of Spelljammer Adventures in Space to provide the background music to keep my players engaged and keep the audience that I'm streaming for engaged. Or even as like a low track on the background of like a podcast or something. It could be really awesome. Here's the thing though. Nowhere does it state that you're allowed to do that without. It's not like this. I don't believe this is DMCA free. I don't see anything that says that it is. If it is, awesome, right? That's going to just elevate this to another level. That it'd really show that Wizards of the Coast is trying to support this product in every way and like allow folks to use it. If it's not, though, and you're unaware of all of that, and you like start streaming it or recording it or what have you with this music playing in the background, which they're flat out telling you in this like prompt to say like, yeah, listen to the music in the background. It's a great background score for your Spelljammer game. And you do it, and then you put out this content that you're really proud of with this music in the background, and it's not DMCA free, then you get it copyright struck and it gets taken down, and then you did all that work for nothing. Again, in an ideal world, maybe you put the audio over it in post rather than like listening to it in the room in that respect so that you can pull out that track separately. But if you are like just friends sitting around a table and you want to play it and also record it so that they can hear it while you're going through it, again, maybe I'm getting hung up on this, but as a content creator and a streamer and things of that nature, like this hits real close to home. So I don't know. I hope that they come out and say, I mean, even if it was like a purchasable license, right? Or you reached out to the, Kill Rock Stars, the kind of folks who produced the album and said like, hey, can I pay you X to get access and have the official approval from you to use your audio in the background of my videos? I mean, Critical Role had to do that. They have like the Diablo soundtrack and a couple of other ones are like okay for them to use on their stream. They got the rights from the folks involved to allow them to run the music in the background of their adventures when they're streaming and playing their games. So you would want to get something similar. I don't know if they're at liberty to do that, but that's why, it's been on hold for a long time, but I am working on an album with a friend. I'm not. I want to point that out. I'm not musically inclined in any way. I'm purely in a production standpoint. But he is working on coming up with a short album of musical tracks that will be DMCA free, that will cover things from like background ambient kind of music, from battle music to towns to traveling, what have you. We're working on that, and we're going to release it probably on Bandcamp or something like that, and it will be completely DMC free that you will be able to use in your games with no course or repercussion of any kind. So anyway, that's a future video once I finally get that produced. But in the meantime, this is pretty cool. To buy the record, the vinyl, it is $49.99. Standard color vinyl. Oh, let's see. Hang on. There looks like there's multiple copies. Let's go ahead and pull this up. So there's the Artifact Edition LP, Galaxy Color. Galaxy Color Vinyl Deluxe Double LP in a triple gatefold foil stamped LP jacket with additional artwork. 24 or 12 by 24 fold out poster with full lyrics, because there are some that do have lyrics as well, and printed inner sleeves. It includes unlimited streaming of Spelljams via the free Bandcamp app, plus high quality download and MP3 FLAC and more. There is only 175 remaining of those if you guys want that. You can get the Artifact Edition LP in the standard color, which looks like it's pink and blue, right? Standard color and a triple gatefold, and then you can get just the digital album for 14 bucks. Well, I think I'm going to go buy this limited edition one, because once they put limited edition on anything, that is the biggest way to sucker me into buying something. You put a limited edition on anything, I need it, because I have that gamer gremlin mindset where I need to have that as part of my collection, because there's only 1,000 in production and 175 left. I need that. I don't have a turntable and I don't have any way to play this vinyl record, but I need it. That's just me. Anyway, that's enough for rambling for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.